Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG WTF LOL to WBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001, but more importantly, we are booking the Invasion angle. And we're also going to be running Monday Night Raw tonight. And tonight is the official start of the King of the Ring, as we will see two first-round matches of the King of the Ring tournament tonight, as well as our Tag Team Championship match that we've been waiting for, as Kane returns to action to team up with his brother, The Undertaker, to defend those tag team titles against Test and Albert of TNA. So let's go ahead and start the show. I don't have much to talk about. Let's just go right into it. We have one pre-show match. Got a C rating, a solid C rating, and a poor pre-show match. That's unfortunate. Poor pre-show match. Somehow got a solid C, though. Chuck Palumbo defeating the one, Billy Gunn, with a torture rack submission. Chuck Palumbo got the in-ring performance of a C+. He was superior to Billy Gunn's D. No worker improvements, but that's our only pre-show match. Okay. I felt like I had a burp, so I was like, let's see if I can kind of force it out. That's a little disgusting to talk about. Either way, we start off the night with an A rating, not an A rating. Well, no, this is an A rating. I thought I was going to say an A star. We start off with an A rating to start off the night, and it's a before the Raw segment, so it's like one of those, before Raw started or whatever. And we see Paul Heyman. He's walking up to Vince McMahon's office, and he knocks on the door, and he walks in. And we, now we're in the office, and Vince is like, Paul, sit down, I'm sorry for, what happened on SmackDown. I mean, for what happened on Nitro. With that being said, what can I do for you? This is not the best Vince McMahon. Let's see. You gotta get that good grunt in there, nerds and geeks. Okay. Do you want a spot on the Raw commentary team? That's still Stone Cold-esque. Either way, Paul Heyman responds, No, Mr. McMahon. I don't want to commentate on Monday Night Raw, to be honest. I'm not too keen on sitting next to Jerry the King Lawler. We have a bit of history. But I did come here for a reason. You see, Mr. McMahon, after your son embarrassed me on live... well, it's not really live, so I shouldn't have said that. On TV this past Thursday on SmackDown... or should I say Nitro? I guess. I was pissed. I was livid. I wanted to strangle your son. But then I thought about how funny his face would be when he loses his war. But the fact of the matter is, Mr. McMahon, the way things are going, he's gonna win. He's in your head. Ever since he got that bastard Ric Flair to come in and join him, things have gone downhill. He got a partner, and you need a partner. So what are you exactly proposing here, Paul? Well, Mr. McMahon, you give me a month, a reasonable budget, and I'll bring you an army, and we'll end this war once and for all. Think about it, Mr. McMahon. No one hates WCW more than you and I. I've been at war with them. You've been at war with them for decades, and they've stolen every idea I've had and made it seem like their own. Please, Mr. McMahon, let me destroy WCW with you. And then Vince, he thinks hard, and he extends his hand. He says, all right, Paul, you've got a month. And then that's when, Monday Night Raw's intro starts. You get the fuck this shit. I don't think it was that song at the time, but, you know what I mean. Yeah, Monday Night Raw's intro starts, and we go into the start of the show. Hold on, nerds and geeks. I'm about to be super disrespectful right now. I gotta reply to a message right now. Actually, you know what? I don't have to reply to a message. They're deciding to watch Roadblock anyway. I was gonna plug it at the end of the show, but Ring Rope Radio, new podcast featuring yours truly, along with some two cool dudes. Check it out. Either way, so Paul Heyman says pretty much to Mr. McMahon, give me a month, like I said, reasonable budget, and I'll bring you an army. So there you have it. Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman making a deal here. Well, Paul Heyman seems to have something up his sleeve. Up his sleeve, you know. That sneaky Paul Heyman. Gained some heat to the invasion storyline, and it started off strong. Awesome. So after the intro starts, you know, the announcers are like, welcome everybody to Monday Night Raw tonight. We'll, in fact, see the Brothers of Destruction battle Test and Albert, and then we'll also see Canyon take on Christian, and Hugh Morrus take on Kurt Angle, not in a fatal four-way match, but in two separate singles matches as we start the King of the Ring. That's what it was supposed to be. So we then go to, you know, Lord Steven Regal. He's standing in the ring with, you know, gets a C+ rating with Shawn Stasiak and Mark Jindrak. I guess I made them making their way down to the ring, but either way, they're in the ring. Regal takes the mic and he says, quiet, quiet, quiet. Excuse me, your lord is talking. Quiet. Now I intended on revealing the name of Shane McMahon that Shane McMahon has bestowed upon Mr. Jindrak and Mr. Stasiak this week on Nitro, but the name was so great that I couldn't wait. But I am beginning to regret that decision. Quiet! Now, Mr. Jindrak, Mr. Stasiak, they are future stars of WCW. They were trained by WCW hands, and thus they will continue the tradition of the trainers, because from now on, Mr. Jindrak and Mr. Stasiak will be collectively known as Power Plant. Now, as WCW Commissioner, I have full control over booking any and all WCW championships, no matter who holds the title or who they work for. So, Jeffrey and Matthew Hardy, come out here and defend your WCW Tag Team Championships against WCW's Power Plant. And that opens up our first match of the night, which will be Mark Jindrak and Shawn Stasiak, now known as Power Plant. None of you guys actually recommended that, but someone came up with an idea of Power Planet. And I really thought that was clever because, you know, they went to Power Plant. And it would have been clever if Shawn Stasiak had the goofy, stupid I'm from Planet Stasiak gimmick, but we're not doing that, so it didn't make much sense to call him that. But then I thought about Power Plant and how they were, you know, that's where they were trained, probably. So I really thought that had been a clever name since, you know, they're both powerful and kind of plays up their heritage. I like it. Let me know what you guys think. Either way, it did get the crowd hotter, which, that's interesting. Look at you go, Regal. So we go on to our match. Wow, holy hell. Solid B rating. Hell yes. Open up in this night. And about that had decent wrestling. Not much weighing heat. Hardy Boys defeating Power Plant. Unfortunately, Power Plant didn't get the victory in their debut match. Defeats Power Plant when Jeff Hardy defeated Mark Jindrak. What the fuck? I thought it was supposed to be Shawn Stasiak. Whatever, I guess Jindrak can take a fall. Defeated Mark Jindrak with a Twist of Fate Swanton Bomb combo. So Matt Hardy hit the Twist of Fate. Jeff hit the Swanton. 1, 2, 3. Hardy Boys make defense number 4 of the WCW World Tag Team Championships. Regal did some good work ringside, as he usually does. Of course, Matt and Jeff have excellent in-ring chemistry together. And Jeff Hardy, he had an in-ring performance of a B+. Matt had a B+. And Jindrak and Stasiak have C-. So that goes good for both of them. We then go on to our next segment, which gets another solid B rating here. After the match, Matt Hardy then grabs the mic and he says, Steiners, you pushed your weight and tossed me and my brother and I around 2 times already. You've made it clear what you two are after. They then hold up those, you know, WCW tag titles. And he says, the Hardy Boys weren't raised to be cowards. We weren't raised to just lay on our backs or whatever. You know, we were raised to never back down to any challenge, no matter how big and how intimidating it may be. So Scott, Rick, as you like to say, if you want some, come get some. And that's when we have the Steiner Brothers music hits. You know, I don't know if you want to have the woo, the stupid little siren, or maybe probably their WCW theme. But either way, their music hits, out they come. I'm going to take a drink real quick. And Scott then goes, you sure you... That was pretty bad. You sure you boys want to do this? You could always lay those titles down, tuck your tails between your legs, and walk. That sounds. It's too Bubba Ray Dudley. And walk away. Not Scott Steiner enough. We're got to work on our Steiner nerds and geeks. Either way, Matt then replies, "That's not the Hardy way. You may knock us down, but we'll get back up. We won't die." Scott replies then, "It's your funeral. We'll see you boys at the King of the Ring." And that confirms our first official match at King of the Ring. WCW Tag Team Championships on the line as the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt, will defend against fellow brother duo, the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott. Rick and Scott. There we go. Bada boom. Title match in the room. WCW Tag Team Championship. Hardy Boys, who represent the WWF and are also the champions, taking on the Steiner brothers, who represent WCW. There we go. First official match confirmed on the King of the Ring pay-per-view right here, right now. No worker improvements, though. So we move on to our next segment, most likely either leading into a commercial break or coming back from a commercial break. But either way, we come back from a B- here, B- rating. Backstage. Ooh, sorry. Hiccups, as usual. Backstage, we see Kanyon rubbing his head, getting a headache again here, while Hugh Morrus is just going on and on and on like he always does. And Morrus is like, "Bro, tonight, it's going to be great. You and me and you, both in our King of the Ring matches tonight, making history, man. Bro, what if we face each other in the finals?" Kanyon just goes, "You're joking, right?" "What do you mean?" "Do you know who you're facing tonight? You're facing Kurt Angle, and that dude is hell-bent on destroying WCW. There's no way you're making it to the finals, let alone past Kurt." And then Hugh Morrus replies, "Well, you'll be there to cheer me on, right? I know I'll be there for you." And then Kanyon just goes, "No, just stay away from my match, okay? Don't go out there." And then he walks away while Hugh Morrus just kind of looks there staring. And that'll lead us into our next match. So yeah, I would imagine this being before a commercial break, and then we lead into the next match. Of course, Kanyon, like I said on Nitro, if you guys didn't watch, I'm going to start teasing some face turns for some of the WCW talent, since now they've been on TV for a little while now. I'd imagine some fans, starting to warm up to some of them and start falling in love with their characters. Kind of like how I said with Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman right now, how they're still faces despite being on WCW. It's because, well, fans like them. They do the high flying flipping moves and they smile and wave, and Billy Kidman's got a hot girlfriend, so there you go. So of course there you see Kanyon and Hugh Morrus are both on the path to turn face here soon, most likely. Hugh Morrus is improving on acting. That's really good. Good for him. No turns yet, though. Yes. We then go on to our King of the Ring match, which gets a B-, not too bad here, B-, in a decent match. Christian defeating Kanyon in 7 minutes and 35 seconds after Kanyon was distracted by Hugh Morrus. So despite Kanyon saying, "Don't come out to my match," Hugh Morrus comes out when I imagine Canyon's looking good, getting ready to, potentially get the victory, and then Canyon's coming out rooting him on, or not Kanyon, excuse me, Hugh Morrus comes out rooting him on like, "Yeah, that's right, buddy," and Canyon's like, "The hell you doing out here?" like screaming at him, turns around, and Christian kind of sends a message to Edge in a way too, who's, if you guys know, they've been at a little bit of odds right now. And he hits Kanyon with a spear, I'd like to imagine, which leads to the 1, 2, 3. Christian moving on into the King of the Ring tournament, which I should probably put it up here sooner or later. But either way, we know Christian's moving on to round 2, and Kanyon, despite being the first ever WCW superstar in a King of the Ring, unfortunately came up short tonight. So that's unfortunate for him. Hugh Morrus, of course, like I said, is foreshadowing that face turn. We already talked about that. Christian and Kanyon both had an in-ring performance of a B-. No worker improvements here. We move on to our next segment after that. Get another A rating. Hell yes. I'm excited about this segment, Nerds and Geeks. This segment right here is something that me and my buddy Chris have been really excited about. I planned it for a couple weeks here now, so it's funny. So either way, we get an A rating here. We're at Stone Cold Steve Austin's ranch And, Austin, he's standing by to answer JR's question. Now, this isn't necessarily the angle yet, but it leads up to. We're going to see 2 angles tonight featuring these 2, but it's going to lead up to another funny angle later on tonight. So hopefully that gets a better rating. I forgot I did this one. So either way, JR's like, Steve, it's all... I can do a way better JR than that. Let me take a drink before I do this, though. Well, Steve, always great to talk to you. This is still horrible. Whatever, let's just continue. Always great to talk to you. I understand that you've requested this time. Austin then responds, That's right, Jim. I'm here to update you all on my protege, Rhino. Well, Steve, it's my understanding that you've decided to move... That's more Mick Foley, but like I said, let's ignore it. To move Rhino to your house to get taken care of. That's right, after Triple H's heinous act last week in attacking a man in their hospital bed, I decided the only safe place for my protege is at my ranch. I dare that son bitch to come here. I'll be waiting. And then JR just goes, well, we all here at the WWF Rich Rhino a speedy recovery, and I know you'll keep us updated. And then Austin's like, you're damn right, Jim. I appreciate your time. And we end the segment right there. Austin, of course, real star in this segment. Rhino, he wasn't really, he was there, but he was just really laying there, but that's how I would have had it be. But apparently he's developing better performance skills, so he knows how to look like he's, asleep. We then come back from a commercial break, and I'm really surprised this did this good. And we get a solid B rating in a decent match. Kurt Angle defeating Hugh Morrus by the ankle lock submission hold. I wouldn't have had it done that way. I would have probably had an angle slam. So let's imagine he did that. Instead, we'll just go by... Look at this. I can just change it myself. By pinfall with the angle slam. There you go. So out of the way. Kurt Angle versus Hugh Morrus. Round 1 in King of the Ring tournament. Second match in the round 1, I should say. And Hugh Morrus, the second superstar in WCW, to not only be in the King of the Ring tournament, but also to come up short, as we have a decent match here. Kurt Angle defeating Morrus in 7 minutes, 38 seconds by pinfall with the Angle Slam after a distraction from Kanyon. So Kanyon getting a little bit of vengeance here and starts, coming out during Hugh's match. Maybe I'd imagine Kurt controlling most of the match, but, Hugh getting like a little burst of energy, and it might look like he's beating Kurt Angle. And that's when Kanyon comes out and he's like, Hugh, hey, Hugh. And then Hugh's completely oblivious, so he's like, oh, you came. Like, he's all excited because Canyon's actually rooting for him. And then Kanyon goes, whatever you do, just, don't turn around. And then that's when Angle does the Angle Slam. 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle moves on to round 2 of the King of the Ring tournament. Like I said, if I had it up, I'd show you it, because that doesn't necessarily mean Kurt Angle's fighting Christian. Because they're not. They're in 2 different parts of round 1. It's just I decided to have their match because Hugh Morrus and Kanyon are, confirmed already. So either way, Kurt Angle had a B+ rating. Hugh Morrus had a C rating. And Kurt's also improving in performance. So there you have that. No turn. We then go to a C+. We see backstage all 3 members of TNA, Test, Albert, and Trish Stratus, all warming up. And Trish is just like, good luck out there, boys. Tonight is going to be tough, but I have faith in you two, and I see you two walking away as the new WWF Tag Team Champions. That's when Test says, hey, thanks, but worry for yourself, Trish. You got your hands full tonight. You got a match with Jackie, and from what it looks like, she's developed a new attitude. And then Trish just says, you worry about yourself tonight, boys. This girl is no damsel. See you later. And then she walks off as the announcers are like, next, Trish Stratus takes on Jacqueline, blah, blah, blah. So we go on to the next match, which gets a C-, not too shabby, and a poor match, which doesn't reflect the C- rating if you ask me. Poor match, Jacqueline defeating Trish Stratus in 7 minutes and 46 seconds by submission. And I didn't know Jacqueline did any submission moves. Okay. Either way, Trish Stratus had a C-, Jackie had a C-. I think the reason why this might have been considered a poor match is I made it the wild brawl stipulation. In fact, let's see. It was well booked, surprisingly. Or they... Trish was penalized for trying to go all out, but not Jackie. Is Jackie not teasing a heel? She... Oh, wait, there's... Okay, never mind. It's no turn yet in here. Okay. I wish it would say it, though. Either way, no worker improvements. Let's move on to the next segment, which gets another C- here. There we go. Thank you. Another C-. Match is over, but Jacqueline is looking to send a message to the WWF women's roster as she continues to beat down on Trish Stratus, who, a lot of people may consider as the face of the women's division. And that's when the real face of the women's division, the WWF Women's Champion, Lita's music hits as she races down to the ring to make the save, but right when she slides in, Jackie rolls out of the ring to avoid the champion, just walking away, talking trash to Lita, saying, not here, but pretty much on my terms, while Lita, pretty much helped Trish Stratus up, and Trish and Lita kind of have a quick little stare down, I'd imagine, while the fans are like, ooh. So it kind of like teases what, a lot of people know to become a historic feud in the WWF between probably the most important feud in WWF history. I don't care how many times you try to run Charlotte and Trish. Charlotte and Sasha. Lita and Trish is where it's at. And it gains some heat to the Lita-Jackie feud. So we move on to our next segment. We get another A rating here. Lots of A ratings tonight, nerds and geeks. And Michael Cole, he's backstage with the WWF Tag Team Champions, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, the WWF Tag Team Champions, The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction." That's when you see them, in camera. And he says, "Guys, can we get your guys' thoughts on tonight's tag team title match against Test and Albert?" Taker then goes, "Well, Michael, tonight Little Brother and I face a team that have earned their title shot, not like some teams around here. Tonight we face Test and Albert, two future stars of this business. All we can say is that they have earned our respect. We know where their allegiances are. And speaking of allegiances, let's talk about that big nasty bastard, Paul White, better known as the Giant. Giant, you made a big mistake by aligning with Shane. You even had the balls to take out Kane on Sunday Night Heat. Because you were our insecure giant bitch. You were jealous that everything wasn't revolving around you. Now you get involved in business that had nothing to do with you. Last week. Nothing to do with you last week." Like I even put it on here. "This is your one and final warning. You get involved in anything that has to do with my brother and I again, I will make you famous and I will shove my boots so far up your ass that Shane will need a cherry picker to get it out." He then looks at Kane. "Now let's go retain these bad boys." And they walk up while JR's like, "Brothers of Destruction versus Test and Albert for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Next." And that leads to that. And I want to give credit when credit is due. If you like that Undertaker promo, it wasn't written by yours truly. Everything here was written by my boy, Chris Omega. So props to him. Cole underperformed, but we knew that was going to happen. Taker came across well. Kane looked well, came across well. Of course, he was just based on Menace, and that advanced Giant and Taker. Cole's learning to show more charisma, so I guess there's a plus there. But before we can get on to our main event, we come back from our commercial, but we're not in the WWF arena. We're back at Austin's ranch, and we see Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's just looking in at Rhino, and Rhino's just laying there, and that's when Deborah walks in, and Deborah's like, "Guess who made cookies?" And Austin goes, "Damn it, Deborah. What are you trying to do, kill him? Don't feed him those." "Man, look at him, Deb. Just laying there. When I see that big-nosed bastard, I'm gonna kill him." And then Deborah's like, "Aw, Steve, it'll be all right." Austin then replies, "No, it won't, Deborah. Just look at him. He's not getting any better. It's been so long. Forgotten how many damn days he's been in that damn coma." Deborah, now, a little confused, she says, "Coma? Steve, he's just sleeping." Steve, Stone Cold Steve Austin, now he's kind of holding back tears, and he's like, "I think I might want to pull the plug, Deborah." And Deborah's like, "Steve?" Austin's just like, I can't stand to see him like this." And that's when Austin reaches over to pull the plug on Rhino, who isn't in a coma, by the way. Austin's just so upset. I don't know why. He looks at Rhino like his future. Let's just pretty much say that. He's the guy who's going to carry on the Austin name. So he goes to pull the plug on Rhino. When Rhino wakes up and he goes, "Hey, boss." And then Austin just goes, "Rhino! Damn it, Rhino, you have me scared. I promise you, Rhino, I'm going to get that bastard." And then that's when Rhino, I imagine them kind of holding hands like they're bros. And Rhino's like, "No, Steve. we're going to get that bastard. And we have just like a whole bro moment, cheesy, over the top, but funny as all can be, I'd imagine. I hope you guys, in my head, I'd imagine this being like that. The one thing that's underrated about Austin's heel turn, because a lot of people like to shit on it for some reason, but the one thing I feel that is awesome about Austin's heel turn at that time was he just had so many funny moments, like the time when he was just playing guitar with Kurt Angle and with the little cowboy hats. Austin was a funny guy. That just right here just was one of those other like little funny moments. I just think kind of like when we had Kurt visit Vince's house. Just fun stuff. Nerds and geeks. We like to have fun here on the show. Lots of fun. Either way, Austin was fantastic. Deborah looked lost, but whatever. Deborah improved in acting as well. So there you go. She made cookies. We go to our main event of the night. Get a solid B rating, Nerds and Geeks. Solid B. And about that had great wrestling and good heat. TNA, Test and Albert defeating the Brothers of Destruction in 15 minutes, 46 seconds when Test defeated The Undertaker with the running big boot after we had a distraction from the Giant. And I'll explain all of this right here, right now. So pretty much, I'd imagine this match going back and forth. At one point, referee gets knocked down. I couldn't tell you when. Oh, actually, I know when. I had it in my head. Now I remember. I'd imagine Kane maybe going for like a clothesline to either Test or Albert. They move out of the way. Kane connects with the referee. So referee's out. And the match continues going on because, they're just going at it. And that leads to, eventually, while the referee's out, the Giant coming down. And at this point, I'd imagine Taker being back in the ring. So Giant goes after Kane. Not slices him. Oh boy, I hope you guys don't hear my dog howling all of a sudden. Someone's making him howl. Either way, the Giant tosses him into like the steel steps or something, and that's when the Undertaker, who has Test ready for the choke slam, tosses Test to the side, and he's all like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes out there and he starts brawling with the Giant, and eventually like maybe just takes him out, clotheslines him over like the barricade or something, and then he rolls back in the ring. Gets up, Test hits the running boot right on Taker, plants him right in the face. 1, 2, 3, referee, slow 1, 2, 3. So it's like 1, 2, 3, like something like that. And then it's like new tag team champions. As Test and Albert really don't understand what's happening. Albert, I imagine, already being out, and Test probably just figured Albert was doing something, to attack Kane while Taker was distracted or something. So they didn't really see what happened, so it's not like they capitalized on the, something there, like they took advantage of it. Either way, Brothers of Destruction lost the tag team titles. Kane had an in-ring performance of an A. Taker had an in-ring performance of an A star. Test and Albert both had a B minus, and that got a... I don't know why I said that. Either way, Kane is improving in technical. Albert is improving in performance. My apologies again if you hear my dog barking in the background. And to close out the show, did I not click it? I guess not. To close out the show, I worry when I have to do this more than once because I don't want it to skip. To close out the show, we get an A rating once again. A rating. Match is over. Test and Albert, they're in the ring. They're celebrating their victory, but not for long as the Giant now is back up and he gets into the ring and he takes both Test and Albert out. The two men, they're trying to brawl with the Giant, but he overpowers them. They're both exhausted after a long, hard-fought brawl against The Undertaker and Kane, and Giant manages to chokeslam both of them. And then that's when he sees Kane getting back up, so he goes back out there and starts beating down on Kane. And he starts, to sandwich Kane's, ankle in between the steel steps. He goes after The Undertaker, who's a little, still knocked out by, not really knocked out, but still down after the big boot. But he's back out there, and he takes Taker, choke slams him, picks him up, choke slams him right onto the steel steps, which is Kane's ankle still in between the two, which would never happen in real life. Let's just acknowledge that right now. This is the glorious thing about fantasy booking, because I can't imagine how they would pull this off. But choke slams The Undertaker onto the steel steps while Kane's leg is sandwiched in between them, and pretty much just shattering Kane's ankle in the process, with The Undertaker's entire weight coming down on that steel steps onto his ankle, while Giant just walks away while Taker's kind of just knocked out and Kane is screaming. So Giant looked good. Unfortunately, Albert underperformed, but that's whatever. And it was all based on selling, so that means Albert's the only one who really doesn't know how to sell that well. And it gained heat back for the Undertaker and Giant storyline. So we end off the show and we get a B+ rating, increasing our popularity in 9 regions. All in all, good show. I'm happy with it. We got the top segment, but we normally do. Justice Pain. 24. He's currently a tag team and world champion at CZW. I'll shortlist him. He could be promising. Got some other stuff here. Alright, here we go. The fun stuff. We got our, of course, our 40.23 of Raw on TV. I don't really know what all that means. There's no drug test fees. Doesn't matter. Have some opinions. First off, Scott Steiner. Matt Hardy doesn't connect with the fans. You should probably write the kid off. Ooh. Wow. That's harsh. That's his opponent, too. Don't beat him down too bad. Austin. Oh, shit, dude. We're getting some opinions from some hard people. Austin says Mark Jindrak can't sell anything worth a damn, in my opinion. The kid needs to learn how to work. Go talk to Taker, not me. And then Edge says Sean Stasiak can't sell worth a damn, in my opinion. He needs to learn how to work. All negatives. So Sean Stasiak, Mark Jindrak, and Matt Hardy. Harsh. That's harsh. Alright, let's check out storylines before we end off the episode. This is still a storyline? No, it's not. It should have been ended. It's technically not really a storyline anymore. Either way. This really isn't a storyline anymore either, to be honest. So this one can kind of end. We'll end that one too. That one doesn't need to be a thing anymore. And this one's not really a storyline either anymore. Okay. So that ends it all that, pretty much. Look at Chris Benoit. He's been fantastic. Alright, nerds and geeks. My name's been OMGWTF. LOLF to WBRB. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And also, like I said earlier, I'm hosting a new podcast. Not really hosting. No, I guess I am. Either way, I'm hosting a new podcast with a couple friends of mine. It's going to be called Ring Rope Radio. We're going to be recording the first episode here pretty soon. And once it's up, check the description below. I'll also post probably an announcement on my YouTube channel saying the first episode is now up and linking you guys where to you go. But either way, please go check it out. Show some support. Give it a chance. Either way, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you guys for WCW Nitro. So until then, have a great day.